Okay, so we're going to do 7.3 similar right triangles. You want to sketch yourself a right triangle kind of similar to this, where you have a big right triangle and you have a dotted line in the middle. We'll call that the altitude. We talked about altitude way long ago. Don't worry too much how you draw it. It just comes from the right angle, and it also makes a right angle with the other side. So this right triangle, and due to the difficulty of teaching online, I'm just going to tell you what you need to know. I won't do the long way of explaining what's happening. But this right triangle right here is simply has two proportions. And this occurs when you have a right angle on the inside and a right angle for the big triangle being ABC. Here are the two proportions, and I'll trace it out. So our first proportion is going to look like this. So AG, this is what I'll call corner to corner, or the hypotenuse proportion, because it uses the whole hypotenuse. So AG, then you take a sharp right to GC. Look at paler blue. Then, since you're at C, you go up G and down to B. So this will equal GC over GB. This is one proportion. I'm going to fix the G a little bit. GB. So this is start from one corner, which is not the right angle. So one leg corner. AG, GC. So you go down the corner, up the middle, then back down the middle to the other corner. Very important. It goes to the other corner. Okay. This is a proportion that you could solve if we had numbers here. I'm going to put some numbers here as an example. Let's make this 6, so CG6. And let's make this let's make it 8. So the first rule we're going to learn, which is called the hypotenuse proportion, is corner up the middle, back down the middle to the corner. That's fine. So A to G, which is 8, over G to C, which is that middle line, 6, equals C to G, that middle line again. Notice the middle line repeats. That's okay. 6 over G to B. We don't know what that is. So I'll call it X. You could also just call it GB. When you have a fraction like this, what you can do, or a proportion like this, is cross multiply. We also call it the butterfly method, because look, it makes a little butterfly. So we're going to cross multiply here. 8 times x is 8x, and 6 times 6 is 36. divided by 8, divided by 8. It's going to be a fraction slash decimal. That's okay. X will be 4.5. So that means GB is 4.5. So if you start from the corner, you'll use 2 pieces of the hypotenuse. Okay? So this is the hypotenuse one. So we'll say hypotenuse proportion. Okay? Because we're looking for the 2 pieces of the hypotenuse, which is, remember, the longest side across the right angle. I'll leave this here for about half a minute to a minute to copy this down. Anyone has any questions, you can unmute and ask. Okay. Notice how this one does not use the leg here, CB, nor the leg here, AC. It does not use these 2 pieces. Our next and last proportion will use one of the 2 legs. So I'm going to use the same right triangle. You could redraw it. I wouldn't recommend using the same on the same triangle because it'll get too cluttered. So I made a new right triangle. Everyone draw a new right triangle, okay?
What do we do now?
Redraw this triangle. We're going to do our new proportion. This one is the leg proportion. All right, here is the leg proportion. It's going to be, get the colors. This one, you're starting from the middle. You're going to go down one leg, like down to one corner, up the leg. So we have GB, GB over BC. That's going to equal from CB to the whole hypotenuse, okay? So short, turn, long. So BC to the whole hypotenuse AB. Short, turn, long. And again, you could plug in numbers here to figure it out. This one, I'm going to mix it up, and I'm going to make our double the x. I want to find what CB is. But let's say I'm given, let's make this one 4. And let's make AG 5. So AG is 5, GB is 4. So we're going to plug in our numbers for our proportion. 4 over, I don't know what CB is, so I'll call it X, equals, I don't know what my BC is, X, over the whole thing here, 5 plus 4, which is 9. We're going to cross multiply. 36 equals x squared. 9 times 4 is 36. X times x is x squared. How do I get rid of the square? Well, I have to square root both sides. X is going to equal the square root of 36, which is simply 6. X equals 6, which means this side over here, CB, equals 6. So the harder part is deciding what formula to use, which proportion to use, in order to solve it. We'll go to our favorite type of worksheet, the Kuta software, everyone's favorite. And we're going to practice a couple from there, and I'll leave the rest for homework. Okay? So we have two proportions. The side one, which uses the leg of the big triangle, and the piece by piece one that uses the hypotenuse. Okay? Or you can say the altitude. All right. All right, I'm going to go to the worksheet. This worksheet I'll post later as your homework for tonight. / maybe tomorrow, depending if we do this again. Okay, everyone look at number 1. The whole thing's 100, that's 36, that's X. Now, how you approach this is you ask yourself, am I looking for a leg? Or am I looking for the altitude, AKA the inside of the height, or inside of the hypotenuse? In this one, I am looking for the altitude. If I'm looking for the altitude, I'm going to use a hypotenuse ratio, which if I start from one corner, go here, then a sharp right, then back up, and cross the other way. So here, from one corner to the other. You can, by the way, go from the other corner if you need to. So starting here, down this road, 36, over the mystery, x, equals, again, back down the mystery, x, over to the other side. Now, what's the other side over here, this distance? It's not 100, that's the whole line. It's not 36, it's that side.
Oh, it's bad. You're keeping.
What we have to do is 100 minus 36. 64.
I draw.
Guys, is there a question?
Nah, we're good.
All right. So
I mean, it's really hard to learn.
I hear you. I know. I can only
When are you
imagine.
coming back?
As I mentioned
When you
before, because how this system works, since my brother got sick and I didn't get sick, I have to wait 25 days to make sure it's all clear.
So how much longer?
That was January 30th. That means probably February 22nd, 23rd-ish. I have to check in.
Oh my God. Mr. Tobel, we cannot learn like this until then. I'm sorry. We're not, we haven't really learned anything today.
I know it
Like-
sucks.
Like,
At least let me finish this so I could post it on YouTube, and then we have this forever, and then we could decide what we do later afterwards. Let's finish this.
all right, bet.
All right. 36 times 64, x times x squared equals, I don't know what 64 times 36 times 64 is. I don't expect anyone else here does. So 36 times 64, 2,304. Now, I especially don't expect anyone to know the square root of both things. So this is x equals square root of that, 48. So for this one, I got x equals 48. For number 2, in this situation, I am looking for a leg right here. I'm looking for the leg right here. Because I'm looking for the leg, I start in the middle. Oopsies. Since I'm looking for the leg, I start in the middle. So starting here, 9x, x to the whole thing, which they give you, 25. 9x equals x, 25. Cross multiply. 9 times 25 is 225 equals x times x squared. Square root both sides. It's okay if you don't recognize this one. This one should be a little bit more familiar to. Square root of 225 is 15. So 15 equals x. Yeah. All right. I'm going to call this a day. I'm going to try my best to figure out a better way to teach these things while Zooming. But otherwise, we could have a good day today. I wish everyone, no problem.
Thank
Have a
you,
wonderful
thank you,
day.
Mr. Stovall. Have a good day.
No problem. You too.
Thanks, Coach.
No problem, man. See you around.